Jai Hind viewers, it's my honor today to welcome Pankaj Kanal, who is one of India's finest architects and owns his own architectural firm and is settled in Mumbai. Welcome, Pankaj, to Achievers Articulate on Global Strategic and Defense News.
Jai Hind, Jacinda ji, and thank you very much for your warm welcome.
Pankaj, my first question to you is, please describe the path of your journey from choosing mechanical drawing as a subject in class 11th to becoming India's one of the most successful architects. How has this journey been so far?
See, actually, I wanted to be on that side of the table where you are sitting right now. I was pretty passionate about NDA, but after 10th, because maybe I studied too much, I got specs. So I could not pass the NDA exams because of physical attributes and had to drop my dream of getting into Air Force. And my father was an architect himself, so I had that background, so to speak. Although he was not very keen to for me to take up the same profession, but I had that exposure and I loved the way things used to move around that. So I kind of went for mechanical drawing because of that. And frankly, my father was also a second gen architect. My great grandfather was also into the same profession in the early 1900s. So I guess there's something like a genetic thing happening because of which I was kind of attracted towards it. And I had to really work hard to start with because I did not work with my father, although he had his own practice. I joined with his ex partner and worked as an employee, although he was my uncle, so to speak. But I worked totally as an employee with him for 6 years and got pretty good exposure, got to meet with greats like the President of India at various presentations, uh, Bhairav Singh Shekhawat many times for a presentation, Mr. Chotala, who was the CM at that time for Haryana. And post that, I started my own practice in 2001. And it has been a hard journey. We have kind of me and my wife. She's my co-director. She's also an architect, and we used to travel with just $60 in between the two of us from uh, Rajendra Nagar to Hoskas on a bike, and that 60 rupees was supposed to cover our uh, lunch meal as well as 1 liter of petrol for my Java.
Okay, that's interesting. So, Pankaj, tell me, when you started your journey being an entrepreneur, and like you rightly said, you encountered a lot of difficulties. Did you at any point of time decide to give up? And if so, what stopped you from giving up? And the journey till date where you won several prestigious awards. So, how is this entire thing shaped up?
I had a very good handbook available with me, what not to do as an entrepreneur. My father, he was one of the top most acknowledged architects as a designer during those times for residential complexes, factories, bungalows. But he was not a great businessman or an entrepreneur, so to speak of. He had a huge team of architects, and how everything kind of went down because of lack of financial acumen was something which I learned. As an entrepreneur, if you're starting, my one advice is to people to kind of, you have to be really, really self-motivated. Like zid jisko bolte hai, even in Forge, like how you have to have that zid to do what come what may. You have to get up every morning, do the rituals, do the exercises that are required to be done, and be there, be present every day. Knowing that something is not happening today, something is not positive, you have to keep on hammering away. So that is how it kind of started off, and uh, I've got good lucky breaks also, which are very important. Luck is a very good, important factor as far as entrepreneurship is concerned. You might attend the best of business schools, you might have the best of knowledge base, but until and unless you get some breaks, it doesn't actually work out. So I've been lucky that way. And like luck favors the brave, as they say. So you have to be brave being a businessman, and luck eventually does come your way.
Pankaj, what challenges did you face as an entrepreneur when COVID-19 hit India, especially in 2020 and 2021? And how did you overcome these challenges?
See, 2020, we were pretty lucky that we were just handing over some major projects uh, in March 2020. So we had handed over major projects in 2020 for which the billing was due and recoveries were due till October 2020. So we were lucky to bide through that time. The biggest challenge was like it was a unprecedented time, unprecedented situation wherein we did not know how to coordinate with clients or with team members offline, means not being there present physically, because our field demands a lot of actual interaction with clients, with sites, with team members. Just to give you an example, let's say ये मेरा वाला color है, ये आपका वाला color है, but how the colors appear on the screen and how they are actually in sampling, that completely different. Even if I have to doing some sketches and conveying it to the client, half of it is lost in translation, but we picked it up as we went around. Ki, haan, this is how it goes through and this is how it doesn't. And we were closed for only like 75 days of the total period. Post that, closed as in our office. But we started operating from our office after 75 days. From day one, we had handed over all the equipment to our staff to work from home. So we had kind of shifted pretty fast. So you have to be nimble footed when you are in business. It's like a commando force. So you have to be ready to just jump as the command may come for a different objective. You have to be on your toes all the time. You have to be prepared. So we were able to survive that till uh, October, December. Then there was the biggest challenge was the companies had stopped expanding, and we are majorly working with corporates only. So there are major retailers like Shoppers Stop, then Disney India. All of them kind of put all their plans on hold. So that was a big question mark because there was no crystal ball available as to what's going to happen. Let's say, okay, we survive, we burn the fat that we have right now, but will we get new food 8 months down the line, 9 months down the line? There was no surety of that. But again, luck favors the brave. We did not lay off a single person. We did not kind of cut down on any salaries. And then things slowly started turning around post November, December 2020. And 2021 was pretty okay. There was not much of it. Yeah, 1 month period was there. The Jan of 21 and May of 21 were pretty bad. But other than that, 21 was okay. 21, the biggest challenge I faced was that we were unable to travel much. So I think March 21 was the first time I started traveling again. And immediately May, June again, a lot of lockdowns started coming in. But 21 was pretty okay. And post, I would say, uh, August 21 or September 21, the things actually went uh, pretty fast upwards rather than slowing down. They were pretty fast improving because a lot of pent up demand, a lot of pent up funds were there with the companies, and all this negativity which was there, offices will not operate, everybody will work from their home only, there would be a hybrid model, only 10% would come to offices. Nothing of that sort happened. In fact, wherever changes were happening, there were new opportunities. So in those calamities also we got new opportunities is what I can say.
Okay, that's nice. And Pankaj, my final question to you is, the youth of today is at times very confused whether to go in for a job or to become an entrepreneur. What would you be your advice to the youth who are at such a critical juncture?
See, I would put across one thing that there are too many opportunities available now. Even if you have selected a particular field, let's say you want to be an architect. Now, being an architect also has so many opportunities. You can do a job, but job also has many kind of avenues available. You can be with a client, you can be with an architect, you can be with a project management company, you can be so many things are there. The biggest thing I would like to put across is don't run after money until and unless you have been able to establish your reputation as a professional, as a technical person, as a whatever field you are in. You need to gain exposure, you need to gain experience. Giving you an example from the forces itself, nobody is made a general the first day. There's a journey. You have to tread the hard path. Until unless you tread that, you cannot lead your men. You cannot tell them how it's done until unless you've seen it yourself. So it's important to gain that experience. Money will follow. So everybody is just charmed with so much exposure that everybody wants the rainfall happening from day one. It might happen then, but what would eventually happen is the rainfall today would go up to a certain level and there would be stagnation. If you can remember, there was this period wherein immediately after 12th you could get a job for 25,000, 35,000 rupees in BPOs. Where are those kids now? What are they doing now? That was fast money which was easily taken, whereas other on the other end people were working for 10, 12,000, 15,000 rupees and working their way up. But they went up further and the initial rush kind of crashed. So it's important to gain exposure, important to whichever field you might be in, important to get the experience, be there, keep, how do you say it, keep yourself motivated, being there every day. And bosses might not, entrepreneurship is nothing wrong in an entrepreneurship. And another important thing, do not presume that you're starting a business, so your friends, your relatives, everybody will just pull in money to get you started. I am of this opinion that you should never speculate even if you are in business. Today, we are like, this is my second company. The first company I parted ways with my ex partners in 2009. This is my second company. That company had a turnover of around 65 CR in a year. And I parted ways overnight and started from scratch again at the age of 40. And this is a 13-year-old company now. We have zero debts in the market. We have sustainability for, let's say a lockdown happens today, we can sustain our company for another 6 months without a single rupee coming in. But that has happened because as a policy, I have kept my greed in check. I can withdraw more, but I would rather keep it there and spread it across the teams rather than being selfish as an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is not only about earning yourself, it's about establishing your roots deep enough so that they survive even after you.
Thank you, Pankaj. It was very informative and interesting listening to you. I'm sure the viewers would have enjoyed it immensely and thoroughly. Thank you so much once again.
Thanks again. Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you.